Hey there, how you doing? It's Chris, your friendly neighborhood internet Sherpa, back again with another one of those tips on how to use the internet to bring bodies to the door, put cheeks in the seats, and of course, build your list. Today I want to chat with you about something that's so important but ridiculously easy to overlook, and that's how to build trust online. You see, if you're going to be operating in this online space, well, you have to adapt a little bit of what you do in the offline world and bring it online. And, well, trust is one of those things. It's actually kind of a biggie. Now, you know I'm all about that list, right? If I don't mention it like 3 or 4 times each time we get together, I don't feel I'm doing my duty. I'm not doing right by you. Well, the thing about that list is that you've got 2 groups of people on it. You've got customers who've already spent money with you, so to them, you're kind of a known quantity. There's really not a whole lot you need to worry about as far as trust, unless, of course, you stuck up the joint with them. In that case, don't worry about it because they ain't coming back anyway. But let's assume that's not the case. Well, then you got that other group of people on your list, the brand spanking new folks, the ones who jumped on your lead magnet because it looked tasty to them. Good on you. They're on your list, but aside from that lead magnet, to them, you're just like everyone else. There's really nothing special about you. Well, if you want to do some commerce with these folks at some point in the future, you got a little relationship building to do. You got to get them to feel some kind of way about you. The question is, how do you do that? Well, this is where that trust thing comes in. Building trust in the online world is actually pretty simple. It really mimics how you do it in the offline world. Now, there's a bunch of different ways I could probably chop this up, but I'm going to give you 3 little nuggets to chaw on, and then I'm going to bounce out of here. 1, I want you to show up consistently. 2nd, bring value. 3rd, be authentic. Now, let's take those one at a time, and let's start with show up consistently. There's something to be said about folks we're familiar with. And to drive that home, I'm going to give you a little facetious example, so just bear with me. Let's say you work in an apartment building on the umpty-umph floor, somewhere way up there in the clouds. It's a Friday, you're headed home for the weekend, you hop on the elevator, and halfway down, the elevator stops, doors open, a couple of biker dudes get on. We're talking full meal deal, tats, leathers, the whole 9 yards. Well, depending on how you roll, you may feel a little uncomfortable in that situation. But once you realize it's Bob and Jim from accounting who just happen to be riding out to Sturgis or some other bike week over the weekend, well, that switches that whole situation around now, doesn't it? That's because in a split second, they went from unfamiliar and possibly threatening to very familiar and comfortable. Well, how we get that familiarity online is by giving people chances to bump into us, or in your case, bump into you. And that's why if you're going to take this online thing seriously, you got to be all about that content. Visibility depends on content. Now, whether you create it yourself, get someone else to create it for you, it really doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter what type of content you put together. Well, the search engines need it. The people who are going to see you need it. Whatever it is, get it out there on a regular basis. Now, they say it takes 7 to 12 touches for someone to feel comfortable enough to spend money with you. Well, every time someone comes in contact with a piece of your content, well, that's a touch. It's like someone bumping into you on the street in the real world. And these touches help you rearrange their mental furniture. You go from, I don't know this dude, to, hey, he's pretty straight. And that gets you closer and closer to trust, which is on the road to them feeling comfortable enough to spend money with you. Now, if you're wondering, well, I just put content out there and people bump into it. How are they supposed to bump into your content? Well, don't forget, we're talking about the people who are on your list. You got permission to reach out to them and say, hey, how you doing? What's up? Here's something helpful you may be able to use. You create the content, you send it out to them, amongst other things. Which, of course, brings us to the second point, bring value. Now, this may sound a little cruel, but it's real. There are some people that just take and take and take and take and take, never give. You may know 1 or 2 of them. Just being around them is a chore. I like to refer to these people as net negatives because on the whole, they take more than they give. Then on the flip side, there are those folks that seem to bring up the world whenever they enter the room. They're always looking to help out if they ask for assistance because they really, really need it. I call these folks net positives because they bring more than they take away. You feel some kind of way about them. You just kind of get that little grin. Well, of the 2 relationships, that second one is the one you want with the folks on your list. But if every time you reach out to your list, you're trying to sell them something, well, they're most likely going to see you as that first guy. But if you work your position as their resident subject matter expert, you can hit them with things that are common to you that you see every day, but they would never have known about. Industry trends, new products that are coming out, anything that would make their world a little better. Better. Getting those 7 to 12 touches is a lot easier when you're giving instead of taking. Now, do you send promotions? Of course you do. Otherwise, what's the point? You're just going to send way more non-salesy stuff. But here's the secret. Even the non-promotional stuff you send is really promotional stuff because you're promoting yourself. When your people need something that they know is in your wheelhouse, you've already got a seat at the table before they start looking around. So, show up consistently, bring value, and finally, be authentic. And what I mean by be authentic, let folks see your face. Business is a people-to-people thing. And when people see your face, the mental furniture really gets shuffled around pretty significantly. Before they see your face, you're kind of just a concept. After they see your face, you're a person. And that's why I got my handsome mug plastered all over the front of my website. Good, bad, or ugly, I want you to know who you're working with. All right, now your future customers want to know you're real. They want to know that you're real because that makes them feel comfortable. Show up consistently, bring value, be authentic. You do all those things, I think you'll be all right with this how to build trust online thing. As you can probably tell, one of my favorite topics. Now, if you want to get your hands on the nuts and bolts of this trust building thing, I got something for you because trust building and list building kind of go hand in hand. Just go to chriscarter.net/list and pull down a copy of my funnel blueprint. It breaks down the tools for building your list and how to nurture that relationship so that you can generate sales in a predictable manner. It's good stuff. All right, I think that's going to do it for me today. But before I bounce, I do want to throw one thing out to you. I say it again, I say it before, I'll say it again. You can be throwing your attention anywhere in the world, anywhere at all, but for whatever reason right here, right now, you're throwing it at me, and I do appreciate it. So thank you very much for listening. I'll talk to you next time.